who are tuning in for the very first time. I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted, to address whatever topics you might like to discuss, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. You can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart and whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. So we are here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted. You can call or text every day now on the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. We want to ensure that everyone has a place to go where you can hear from God and receive daily divine direction. So I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, thank you for tuning in and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We have received a significant increase in viewership, and I just want to thank everyone for continuing to tune in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, and allowing us to come into your viewing environment. Today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast, as always, is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is Earth's finest water. And for those of you who continue giving on the gift segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on the contribution page on our website at newlifeministriesinternational.com, we thank you for your commitment and your support as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here to address whatever topics are of importance to you and whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. So I also want to make sure that I remind everyone we are in the process of uploading to go live on RadioFreeNetwork.com on internet radio. So we want to make certain that you continue encouraging your family, friends, co-workers, and colleagues to tune in 3D. We will let you know once that transition and upload is completed, and we'll be providing a lot of additional information. So in case some of you who are new and this is your first time viewing the broadcast, you will find that during the month of May until the very first week of September, you see I'm in golf attire, very casual look. And the reason is because we have golf sponsors during the spring, summer, and fall. So I'm going to be here very casual, but we want to make certain that we do business with our sponsors, and we thank you for you continuing to support all of our sponsors. I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your mother-in-law passed 3 years ago. However, your father-in-law is not finding it possible to move beyond the death of your mother-in-law. And now your husband and his siblings have become, you use the word consumed with their father-in-law, giving him attention and really trying to help him through this very difficult time. And the reason that I phrased it that way and not based on what your communication indicated is because you've got to understand that your father-in-law, being married to someone for 50 years, being married to someone since they were in their very early 20s, married to someone for 50 years, and now his spouse, his life partner, has gone home to be with the Lord. And he's not only mourning, he's heartbroken. he doesn't really know what to do with himself because he's always done it together as a joint partnership, a team. Now, your husband and his siblings have watched their parents being married for 50 years. And now your father-in-law is in his early 70s. This is the only life he has known. Your communication, you're saying that it's affecting the family because your husband and his siblings are spending a lot of time with your father-in-law. However, you got to realize that your husband and his siblings love their father. They love their mother. They're all mourning. But they're not only mourning, but you have to understand that now he no longer has his life partner. Your father-in-law no longer has a life partner. There's a couple of things that can be done about this. But you have to be willing to set aside what your concerns might be and set aside what you're feeling right now, that you're not getting enough attention because your husband's spending a lot of time with his father and his two sisters are spending a lot of time with their father. But you've got to recognize that you've come into a family that has been a family unit all of their lives. And so I'm going to share with you what God spoke to me as I looked into the secret place of your life. And the reason I use the analogy that you're not getting enough attention is because that's exactly what you're struggling with. You're struggling with the fact that you're not getting enough attention. Your husband is taking your children to visit their grandfather. Your sister-in-laws are taking their children to visit your grandfather. They're trying to keep some semblance of normalcy in the life of your father-in-law. If you feel that your husband going to spend time with his father and his siblings with their father, then you've got a choice. Your choice is you can either join him on that journey or you can support your husband in going to attend to his father because his father is aging now. He's in his early 70s. He's not ill. He's emotionally destroyed right now. Now, there's a couple of things, as I indicated. You can join him in visiting with your father-in-law. I know you're taking care of the home, and that's a beautiful thing, and everybody's doing what they need to do. But your husband's made a choice that he's going to be there for his father also. These are good people who have lived a united family life. You need to make sure you become a part of that. Now, here's another recommendation. And that is that because your husband is a good man, and because your husband is trying to do the right thing by his father, what you could do is suggest to your husband that your father-in-law, pardon me, I might have misspoke for a moment, but your father-in-law sell his home and come and live with you and your husband and your family. You could make that suggestion. Now, your father-in-law would be in a position to sell his home, and because he would be coming to live with you, he could then either assist you all in buying a new home, if you're not in a position to buy a larger home yourself to accommodate a in-law suite for him, or you could make some additions to the house. But there are things you can do without allowing this to become an issue between you and your husband. And you might say, the scripture does say a man will leave his mother and father and cleave unto his wife. He's not leaving you. He's only trying to take care of his father. He's only trying to make certain that just as he loves his wife and his 2 children, that he takes care of his father. That's all he's trying to do. He's trying to do things the right way. We don't always see the right way to do things because we haven't been shown the right way to do things. He's had an example of what a 50-year marriage looked like. They were able to celebrate their 50th anniversary before your mother-in-law went home to be with the Lord. They were able to do that. They got married at 23 and 22. Your father-in-law is now in his early 70s. So one of the things, the Bible also says, honor thy father and thy mother, that your days will be long upon the earth. Not their days be long upon the earth, but your days will be long upon the earth. Sometimes parents don't make it easy for us to love them up close, but we honor the fact that they brought us into the world, and we thank God for that. But in your father-in-law's case, that's not the issue. Just as your husband's a good man, he's a good man because he's watched his father be a good man. He's watched his father do everything he can to ensure that their family was stable and that they enjoyed a quality of life. You want to become a part of that so that you and your husband can teach your children to do the same thing. Because someday, God willing, that we all live long enough, we hope our children will do what your husband and his 2 siblings are doing. His 2 sisters. You know, I have to say, everyone's not going to do that. But they are, and they're willing. They have a heart to care for their father. They know their mother would want it this way. There's a couple of things you can do to make sure that you have the peace that's necessary to continue moving forward and not focus on the fact that you feel like you're not getting enough attention. We have to make certain. I'll use an example. I'm going to use this for humor, but you know, one of the things that we do as a church and in our community is that we partner with nursing homes, and there's a really nice assisted living facility that we would go and visit. And I remember coming home from church one Sunday, and our daughter said to my wife and I, as we passed by the place, "Don't you volunteer at that assisted living facility?" And we said yes, and she said, "It's really nice, isn't it?" And we said yes, it actually is a very nice assisted living facility. And our daughter said to us, "Good, because when you and mother get older, that's where I'm going to place you, and then I'll just drive over from the house to visit the 2 of you." And I say all of that, and of course I said to her, that's why we will never depend on you to take care of us, because as nice as that facility is, and it's a very nice facility, I know your plan. I'm saying this to you to say, that's not what your husband and his 2 sisters have in store for their father. That's not what, I'm not saying that you know, there's not a need for those places. There is a need for those places, but they're willing to put their time and energy into assisting their father in living in his home right now. Now, of course, they could do some scheduling. Now, they have put together a bit of a schedule so that during the week they can rotate seeing their father, but on the weekend, so they're really, listen, they're really all doing the right thing, because each of them is spending, they go 2 evenings to see their father, each of them. And then on Sunday, they want to gather at the house. So that's a beautiful thing. And if someone's not able to do it during the week, both days, one of the other ones are picking up the slack. See, God allowed me to see in that secret place of your lives. But I need you to see the effort that they're putting into this. Because initially they were all going back and forth multiple days a week. But now they've got a system. It's been 3 years. It took them time to develop a system. They've got a system now. But you can't allow the feeling of not getting enough attention. It'd be different if you were being neglected. Then you have something else to talk to your husband about. But you're not being neglected. You're just not getting the attention you want, or that you feel you should be getting as the wife. I'm going to say to you what God has spoken to me, and that is, insert yourself into the equation, meaning participate. Don't let them all just figure it out by themselves. Participate. Give some suggestions, some recommendations. Maybe in the evening, I get it, the children are in school, so you're trying to make sure that they're getting everything done when your husband goes over to his father-in-law's. But when school is out, start spending some time in the evenings with your husband while he's at his father's. You can do this and get this to a place that it will give your family perfect peace and a quality of life. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. If you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will place you into our queue so that you can become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your daughter is married to someone who is self-consumed and does not care about his family. And you want to know, what can you do to make him see the importance of his family and become more concerned, more considerate, is what you said in your communication. Okay. So let's begin right here. First of all, you're talking about a couple who has made the decision to be married. So your daughter obviously decided that she liked this man exactly the way he was and decided to marry him. Or she decided that she had a strong enough personality that she thought she could change him. Bad move. After they were married. And the reason it's a bad move is because you can't change another person. They either have to be willing to change themselves, or God will make a change in them. Those are the two things that are going to occur that will cause change. And even if he decided to change himself, it's because of the inspiration of God. So let's address the components of this marriage, for lack of a better term. So your daughter married someone who's self-consumed. I'm not going to debate that because God allowed me to see in that secret place of their lives. You're correct. That's who he is. Now, you're not going to be able to change him. Your daughter's not going to be able to change him. In time, I will say this to you. In time, he will learn the importance of his family. He's not going to learn that immediately because he's going to have to mature. He was single before he married your daughter. And while he was single, he did things exactly his way. He was having relationships with different people, but they didn't last. But he was still doing it his way. And then he met your daughter, and your daughter decided, well, I'll let him do things his way, but I'm going to marry him. I'm going to be the one that he decides to marry. And so consequently, they're now married with children. The problem becomes now your grandchildren, her children are going to learn the behavior of their father. So what you're going to have to do is pray that God will inspire him to make a change in his life. Your daughter is going to have to pray that God will inspire him to make a change in his life. And the two of you are going to have to pray together to cover your grandchildren. Because you're not going to change that man. He is not going to change until he decides that he wants to make a change. He is self-consumed because it's part of the society in which we live. You know, the problem with selfies is that it's made people self-consumed. They're consumed about photographing themselves and being able to post it on social media. They want people to see that they're living their best life, having their 5 minutes of fame. They won't even get 15 minutes of fame. Their 5 minutes of fame. And for people to admire them because they've been able to post online. Well, everybody's got a camera now. And everybody's got a self-imaging camera. And so therefore, you had someone who already had selfish tendencies who's now married your daughter, and he still remains self-consumed. At some point in life, as we mature, it's no longer about self. It's about outward self. And what that means is that whatever's inside of you, you want to pass on to someone else that hopefully will enhance the quality of their lives also. You see, we have to be a living example of Christ living in us. We have to be willing to pour out of our inward selves through our outward selves. Now, the problem with that is sometimes we get exhausted from trying to help people to go to the next level. You know, there's all these terms in society that people use because they sound good, they're catchy phrases, they're nice cliches, they sound real good. You know, level up, you know, black excellence. I've heard them, a lot of them, you know. But the reality is, until we take action to be a better version of ourselves and become the best version of ourselves that we can possibly become, that we might experience the fullness of God, we're still not maximizing the potential that is within us. We just got to do a much better job of getting to the next place that God has appointed for our lives, the next level that God has appointed for our lives. He'll someday hopefully get there through the maturation process of life. Hopefully he will get there. The way that he's going to get there and the way that he can expedite that is by forming a relationship with the Lord. But everyone's not going to do that. And I've come to that realization even as a pastor. And sometimes I'll tell you, one of the One of the biggest struggles of being a pastor is wanting for people more than they want for themselves. People think they want a lot for themselves. People really do think that. But the truth of the matter is, it's only thinking if you don't take action. So you can always tell where people are in their faith. You can always tell where they are in their journey of life. You can always tell where they are in their level of success. First of all, by their relationship with the Lord, because that's the only thing that's going to help you get to every level that God has appointed for your life. And secondly, how much action are you taking to improve the quality of your life by becoming the best version of yourself that you can possibly become? So you have to pray for him. Your daughter's going to have to pray for him. And you both are going to have to come together and pray for your grandchildren, her children, that they might have a better quality of life. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Warrior Custom Golf. There has been a change. Times have changed. No need to spend big money for great golf clubs. Warrior Custom Golf believes that you can have great golf clubs without breaking the bank, without spending a fortune to learn to play the game of golf or enjoy the game of golf. So Warrior Custom Golf believes you should have the ultimate golf experience with quality golf clubs that don't break the bank. You can go to Warrior Custom Golf. If you're a golfer, or you know someone that's a golfer, or you know someone that wants to learn to play the game of golf, and they will help you to select and design and custom fit a set of golf clubs for you at warriorcustomgolf.com. And Charles Tyrwhitt Golf, where they have golf clothing for the avid golfer, golf clothing for the beginning golfer, and you can reach them at Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. In the search bar, type in the word golf, and you will see all of the clothing and accessories that they have at Charles Tyrwhitt Golf at ctshirts.com. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have been overwhelmed by the daily responsibilities in your life, and you have reached a point where you no longer have time for yourself. You want to know, how do you reduce or eliminate some of the responsibilities? You don't reduce or eliminate the responsibilities. What you do is you set boundaries. You establish some boundaries so that you can still fulfill the responsibilities that you have in your life. You know, God allowed me to see in that secret place of your life, you have responsibilities, you have great responsibilities, and you have good responsibilities. You know, you have a full life, and that's a good thing. You don't want to eliminate or reduce the responsibilities you have when they are all good or great responsibilities. You don't want to eliminate those. You don't want to even reduce the responsibilities. What you want to do is establish some boundaries. Establish boundaries on the personal side of your responsibilities, and establish some boundaries on the professional side of your responsibilities. Now you might say, well, how do you set boundaries professionally when everyone is tapping into you? You're one person. You know what your competencies are. Listen, you have to be able to explain to others, communicate and explain to others that there are going to be moments in time where you're going to have to defer some of those responsibilities to someone else, because you're only one person. Now, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't do everything that we're capable of doing and everything that we have time to do. But you can't take on some responsibilities just because you want to shine and then drop the ball and not complete the task, because that doesn't demonstrate your proficiency. So I'm going to encourage you to establish some boundaries. Sit down, map out what your boundaries can be, what boundaries can be established personally, and what boundaries can be established professionally, and work that plan. Develop a plan and work that plan. Today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast 3D has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at Fiji Water.